Welcome back to the Be Ruthless Show. I'm your host, Sam Ruth, and thank you for joining me today live. I don't usually do solo episodes live, but it's a really important day for me and for everyone struggling with loss. It is National Grief Awareness Day, and no one knows. Last year, I started planning what I was going to do, who I was going to collaborate with, how I was going to acknowledge the day. And I discovered that no one knew that there was a National Grief Awareness Day. And it really disturbs me. So I have been planning what to do, how to acknowledge this day, how to be heard, how to be seen, how to be the voice for the invisible for a year because we matter, because every single one of us matters, because this day matters. And I'm not minimizing any other days, but there are days like National Pie Day, Pie 3.14, and there probably is a National Pie like the Pie We Eat Day as well. There's National Hot Dog Day. There are days like this that are on calendars, and National Grief Awareness Day is not. Grief is invisible. People walking around are struggling, and unless they talk about it, you will not know. Given the world that we live in with judgments and criticisms and stigmas, not everyone is as bold and open as I am. And so it's difficult for people to share unless they feel safe, unless they feel like they're in an environment that's safe. And that's not everywhere, people. That's rare and that needs to change. But what needs to happen first is for days like today to be acknowledged. And so I am asking each and every one of you to understand that grief is invisible, to understand that if you haven't lived it yet, you will. That someone you know has lived it and isn't talking about it because we don't teach these things in schools. We don't talk about these things, and we need to. We have all been raised wrong. We have all been taught incorrectly, and we have grown up repeating what we have seen and what we have heard and what we have been told or what we have just watched and learned. And as a little girl, I was bothered at funerals when I would see people sad and observing a service and crying, and the service would end, and literally people would immediately begin talking about what to eat and where to go. And my little girl self knew that this immediate transition from sad to back to actual everyday normal, whatever that is, living wasn't okay, and that it shouldn't happen that quickly, and that it wasn't right. It couldn't happen that quickly, even when it wasn't my loss. And now it's been my loss. And unless you live it, you don't know it. And I don't want you to understand it. I don't want you to have that pain. You will. It's the one thing in this life we will all go through. There are other things we can't understand. There are other differences we won't ever share. We can try to empathize, we can try to understand, we can try to walk through it together, but we never will. But we will absolutely all go through this more than once, but at least once. We will all live this. Until you do, you don't understand. You see us walking around living life. You see us getting through the day. You see us going to work. You see us going on trips. You see us going to the store, running errands, doing things. And that makes it seem like things are fine, like we are fine, like life is fine. What you don't see is that every single day is still a challenge. What you don't see is the struggles. For me, I roll over every single morning and still reach for gym. I struggle with things that used to be simple. My brain and our brains do not function the way that they did before loss and trauma. What you don't see is that there are still challenges. And they're all invisible. Mind you, grief is invisible, but the other things that come along with it are also invisible. So unless we speak up, unless you're big and bold and you don't care, like I am doing, and like some people do, but most do not, we look fine. And we're not. There are people who call me from a bathroom stall at work, sobbing, or from their car. There are people who tell you that they're sick or that there's a family emergency because they don't want to say the truth. And that's fine. I encourage my clients to say whatever it is that they need to say to get through the day. But the world needs to understand that grief never ends, that grief is invisible. You can't measure it and you can't possibly understand it. And it's different for each and every single one of us. For something that is extremely challenging for me might be very simple for someone else who's gone through the same loss, who has lost a spouse, but they might be struggling with something that I don't. But we all struggle. We all have changes in our sleep. We all have changes in our memory. We all have changes in our ability to learn. We all have changes, and they're all invisible. And unless we talk about it and tell you, you will not know. National Grief Awareness Day is invisible. That's a problem. That's not our burden to bear. That should not be our responsibility to tell you. That should be on calendars, in my opinion. I don't care if I piss anyone off. It's more important than National Hot Dog Day. And that's not just because I'm a vegetarian, okay? These days matter. If you are a teacher, an educator, if you are in a position where you can do something about these days, today is a day we can all just share on social media, share on a platform, in a conversation. Did you know? Did you know that there's a National Grief Awareness Day? The end. If you want to take it one step further, talk about a loss you've been through. Ask someone about a loss they've been through. If you are in education, you can use this day in your classrooms, in your schools. This is an awareness day that isn't on calendars and belongs there. You can use this with your students to talk about in so many ways. Number one, how to talk about loss, how to deal with loss. That's something that needs to be taught because we don't talk about it. You can begin there, but we can also use the schools as a place to say, how can we help others understand? Nobody else talks about this. We can be a place that makes a difference. And so I have been waiting a year. I have been planning a year to share with you that I want to do more, and that I want to help more, and that I want to make more noise, and I want to share in a bigger way. And there are more days that are not on calendars. National Grief Awareness Week happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas, when millions of people around the world are struggling. Many millions of other people are celebrating and enjoying the festivities, but many others struggle throughout the holidays. And National Grief Awareness Week falls during that time. And again, it's not on calendars, it's not talked about, it's nowhere to be seen. I want to change that. I am announcing today that Grief Hab is hosting the first annual Healing Together Through the Holidays. It's going to be a 7-day hybrid event. The speakers that are already a part of this event don't even know that it is now a hybrid event. I had originally planned a virtual event because I want people everywhere who are suffering through the holidays to have access to the support and resources and tools that I will be providing and Grief Hab will be providing throughout the holidays, because it's not there. It should not be our burden, people struggling, to search for support. It should not be our burden to search for resources, but that also is the case. These services and support don't exist. Grief Hab exists because I needed rehab for grief. And I could not find the support and the services available with my education and my experience. And that made me really, really upset, because what does the average person without my background go through then? What do they find? They give up. If we can't find it and we're already struggling, and technology becomes really overwhelming when we're dealing with trauma and loss and our brains are overwhelmed, then we give up. And there's no support that is given to us at the hospitals or at the funeral homes. So people who are struggling more. And it is not up to us to find the services, but it is up to us, and they're not available. So I am bringing to you Healing Together Through the Holidays, a 7-day hybrid event. If you are in Fort Collins, Colorado, if you are in Colorado, you can attend live and see the talks. If you are anywhere else, you can attend virtually. I will be bringing you any and everything that you've been asking for: resources, tools, guides, all the things that we need to get through the questions that we ask, the feelings like we're going crazy, the feelings that we're alone, the feelings that no one else gets it, all of the things. December 2nd through the 8th. I don't know the hours yet. I don't know the order of the speakers, but it will be all of those days, at least 5 speakers a day, spread throughout the day, and you will have access to all of that for 90 days, not just those days, because suffering through the holidays does not end, right? We have Hanukkah, we have Christmas, we have New Year's, we have Valentine's Day. We have so many things to get through, and services don't exist. I am working my little tush off to get Grief Hab everywhere and to have services for you everywhere, but I need to be seen and heard to do that. So, first, help me get this event to you everywhere. Share this with any and everyone, because someone you know is struggling, even if they're not talking about it. You can attend this free event virtually. You can get a gift bag. You can attend in person. You don't have to decide that now. I will be sharing the links to register, and you don't have to decide which way. All you have to do is say that you want to be a part of the event. If you want to be a part of speaking at the event, please let me know. The spots are not all full. If you're already a speaker and you didn't know that it was live, don't worry. I just decided that like 5 minutes ago. For real. So I will be reaching out to you, and you will have the choice of speaking in Colorado or speaking virtually. If you want to help spread the word, please. I am doing 2 things here. I want to help everyone struggling through the holidays get the support that they need, but I also want to get these days on calendars, and I want to have someone other than me asking why they're not. Why are these days not on calendars? Why are hot dog days and pie days and fun days on calendars, but important days like grief awareness days are not? Why are we the invisible population? Why is it up to us to search for services? And why are these services not available? If you want to help me make that noise in any way, shape, or form, please reach out. I need all the support I can get, because, as you know, people aren't listening. We're not on calendars. I would love anyone who wants to join in. If you're in a school, I really think that we can do a lot there. Like I've already said, with the students in the classrooms, whether it is educating them and talking about grief and who they've lost and how they feel about it, and just changing the conversations about feelings and normalizing them. Also discussing why these days are not discussed, right? You have a classroom, you have a platform, you have a place, and you have an audience at a young age, you can make a difference earlier and make noise and help little lives know that the way to heal and function is by discussing things, not by silencing them, not by avoiding them. Let them know that the adults are doing it wrong. Let them know that the world has it backwards. Let them be a part of the change, right? If you are an educator or a principal, you have a place. We can do something together, be a part of the change. You have an entire school that can be a part of the raising awareness in so many different ways. If you're a student at a high school or a college, there are so many different ways to make noise and be a part of this. And I would love any support. Again, reach out, sam@samantharuth.com, comment, any of the platforms. I am live everywhere today. It is National Grief Awareness Day, and no one knows. Please share this. You do not know who is watching or listening. I don't know who is watching or listening. We don't know who they know. Someone might have an aunt or an uncle or a brother that has someone in the media or has someone who has lost someone, right? That cares about what I'm talking about. Everyone has been through this or will. And this day matters. Why is it not on a calendar? Why am I the only one pissed off about it? My intention, quite honestly, those who know me and who know that I have been planning this know, quite honestly, number one is to provide support for everyone who needs it. Secondly, it's to piss someone off. I want someone to be angry enough about what I'm talking about to share it, to write an article about it, to talk about it on some station, any media outlet, because I don't truly understand at all. I cannot wrap my brain around the fact that this day isn't on some calendar. If you have a position of any authority at any school, at a charter school, can you add it to the calendar right now with your little computer edit button? Can that be done? Do we have to wait for permission? Can that be done anywhere? Please reach out, sam@samantharuth.com. Be the first school. Be that school. Berkeley High School, be the one. Be my alma mater, University of Michigan, someone somewhere. Do we have to wait? Do we have to be granted access by the government, by the district, by the Board of Education? For real. I'm not joking, because if I worked there, I don't know how to go in to edit and I don't know how to do it, but I would be doing it. I don't understand why it's not there. I can't get it done on the federal national calendars, but why can't we get it done somewhere on some calendar, someplace? Start. Be the first. Let me know. I will shout out to the world and cheer your name in all of the places. If you'd like to be a sponsor for Healing Together Through the Holidays and you would like to be a name that I acknowledge and you would like to be a part of the change, this is the first annual Healing Together Through the Holidays. It will not be the last. Next year, I hope to be cheering that we are on calendars, and I would love for you to be a part of this. I'm not looking for many names. I want a few people who care about this cause to join and support this with me. Share what today is in a conversation. Share this episode. I don't really ask that often. Today matters. Share this episode, please. Share this day. If you've lost someone, share about who that is. Keep their memory alive. Keep them alive. Ask about who someone in your life has lost. Ask about how they're doing. This day matters, and we have never talked about it because we were not taught the correct way to heal. And there are people who might be uncomfortable when you ask the questions because we weren't taught how to answer them, and we weren't taught how to have these conversations, and that's okay. We get more comfortable doing things as we practice them. Think about riding a bike and how many times you fell off or needed somebody to hold you as you wobbled along the first few times. Or think about shooting a basketball and how many times it took before you made the first one. Everything takes practice. Having uncomfortable conversations also takes practice, and people like me are here to help you. Communication, healthy communication takes practice. You don't have to do it alone. You can do something simple like share a post. Today is National Grief Awareness Day. If you would like help becoming a better communicator, please reach out to myself or someone in the field. I will help you find the right match. I will work with you. I will help you find a coach that is the right fit, because the wrong fit never works. But you asking for help and finding a coach to do it better is amazing, right? That is the world I want to live in. I want to live in a place where everyone is able to say, I'm not great at that, but I'd like to get better. Where do I find support doing that? Right? Or I'm not great at that. Where can I watch others and learn? Right? If there is a way to get better and coaching isn't your thing, there are videos. It's 2023 and there are 100 ways to learn. What is your way of learning? I'm not a techie learner, right? I couldn't learn online in this day and age. Shout out to all the students learning in this world. I needed classrooms with teachers and hands-on, and I am here for any of you who need to learn that way. But if you can do it other ways, they're out there and I can help you find them. You are able to do it your way. Grief Hab is all about healing your way. I am all about you learning your way. Live life your way. Today is National Grief Awareness Day. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and sharing it with me. Please let someone know. Until next time, always be ruthless.